Then, drops trow to piss on a rusted-out old Ford littered with rebel bumper stickers, and he says, "Whatever, dude. I fucking hate cover bands." Barney's brother Mort and his Fulton prison chain gang meet us on the inside. I haven't seen these boys in a while, but they're a reminder of how difficult change can be. Their faded band t-shirts and go fuck yourself work boots confess they either just got out or about to head back in, and they have the tats to prove it. Mort finishes Lone Starring a Budweiser, crushes it in his hands, and belches, "That was 4 beers and 10 gulps, kid. That's a hell of a pace." Generations of poor choices and poverty can be felt festering around the thick air. The first thing that hits you is the stench of cheap cigarette smoke and antifreeze that make the Augean stables shine like the top of the Chrysler building. After settling on a dry patch of grass by the fence at the top of the lawn, the sun begins sinking into the western sky when suddenly a thunderous explosion, followed by a spectrum of flashing lights, leaves me gasping for a breath. The band is playing Dixie, finding its rhythm with The Legend of Woolly Swamp, and an intimate pull off the whiskey bottle has my ears ringing. Mort hands me a blunt that looks like a lit torch just as Stroker's theme begins, and that's when the whiskey starts kicking in. Gonzo shakes his head at the rhinestone cowboy on the stage and shouts, "Fucking cover bands, man. Look at that cat up there dancing around like a fucking clown. All he has to do is stand there and look cool. It's not that fucking hard. Go home and write your own fucking songs." A malignant fog begins to settle as the marching snare drums start a military cadence that is hypnotically repetitious. As long-haired country boy drudges along, through the gunmetal-colored haze and the twang of the fiddles, what started as a whisper has grown to defiant cries for an all-out rebellion. As an electric southern breeze blows in, the gang of stray cats in front of us, sporting chain wallets and leather vests, begin howling at the moon, and the moon howls back. I overhear Mort ask Hank if he recognizes any of these old heads from Fulton, and while they both leer suspiciously toward the leather-clad good old boys, Hank is wondering if they aren't some of the Irishman's lackeys. Though they're about a decade too old to be hipsters, they don't look quite like true fans either. That handlebar mustache clearly did not twirl itself, and the flagrant number of zippers lining their leather jackets suggests they're cosplaying a washed-up hair metal band. Hank looks to Mort like he's asking how much he believes in coincidences, when suddenly, in a shocking twist of cane, one by one, I watch the zippers on a black leather jacket begin to fade before my eyes. Suddenly, their biker jackets morph into collarless gray uniforms with tattered gold rivets lining the front, followed by thunderous cannon fire bursting in the air that looks like a Hazard County ass-kicking. The gallon of early times that Daffy snuck in is settling in about as smooth as bathtub moonshine, while a cold wind blows in a sharp drizzle that covers the lawn with a thin layer of red mist. Wondering if I'm the only one seeing this wicked transformation, I turn to ask Val if she's hearing the rebel yells, but she's nowhere to be found. I check my pockets for a loose fall and take another deep pull off the bottle while debris-filled dust tornadoes fill the dark night with electrifying chaos. The air is thick like molasses when the devil wages his holy war down in Georgia, and the fiddling comes to an eerie crescendo. Words have been exchanged with the motley crew in front of us, words that can't be taken back, and looks that kill. Off in the distance, a rebel flag can be seen flapping amongst the dust and debris, and with outstretched arms, standing on the mount, Gonzo can be heard declaring, "Prepare yourselves, heathens, for hell is empty tonight, and we are your merry devils." A sinister hombre is staring at Mort like he knows who we are. He was tall for a Mexican. He stood hunched over like he was too tall for the sky, with a cut jaw and tribal tattoos wrapped around his neck like barbed wire, and when he spoke, it was as if no words came out. Watching this from afar, I could hear Mort crack his neck to the side, causing an echo throughout the grassy knoll. "Yeah, motherfucker," he says coldly. "That's exactly how we roll." I thought the drums of war beat louder warnings, but just as the flags were raised, the echo ricocheting back was a shadowy vibration looking for a soul to steal. The Mexican with the flesh-colored tattoo on his neck never had a chance to finish his wordless sentence. When Mort shattered a whiskey bottle over his heavily gelled head that smelled like stale vomit, no one was left unsure what the next move should be. The smacking sound of flesh being pummeled and bones cracking caused me to wince as a woman's scream could be heard as far off as the hollow darkness extends. The primal scream of the singer yodeling the chorus to Billy the Kid sent me spiraling into a delirium I could not understand, let alone explain. Dust clouds filled with chicken wire and shattered dreams blew as the rain fell hard, pouring like holes in a bucket. The lawn turned to quicksand in which the bodies, covered from head to toe in thick mud, were sinking down into. Then, when the South's Gonna Do It Again started, a cannon was fired from stage left. Barnes has a faceless man with a hole in his eye by the collar, and when his nose explodes, dark purple blood sprays up into the air like a geyser. As the band insists that the last thing they wanted was to get in a fight, while hitting the fiddle hard, a thunderous detonation in the distance sends shockwaves through the battlefield. This does little to slow Gonzo from smashing the bottle of early times across the shins of a man in tight jeans, ensuring that he'll never work a job site again. Nor does it stop Mort from smearing the Mexican's blood across his face and tongue greedily, before laughing maniacally as the tattooed man scrambles off into the darkness. Hank doesn't know it, but that wasn't a dude whose face he just deflated. It sounded like a breech loader being fired at close range when his bare foot struck the side of the woman's frail jaw, leaving nothing but hollow gasps of desperation. By the time I could see the white of his eye, it was too late for the man charging me. I don't know where Fuki found that stack of bricks or the hand cooler they were packed into, but when I watched the man's face flatten like a training bra, that's when I knew things were beginning to fall apart. The dull sound of music is now muffled by the shrieks of absolute devastation and death all around. Mothers carrying crying children by the armful, dying men and young boys with shredded limbs and death ringing in their ears search for mercy. Past the pouring rain, a son stands over his father as the two share their final gaze. When the father's stare fades to black, the young boy falls to his knees and wonders if there's any such thing as freedom, just before a silver bullet slashes through the back of the toy soldier's head. There was no blood at first, almost no sound either. By the time we make it past the musket balls whizzing by and the fog of gunpowder, through a clearing in the main path, two battle-torn flags wave valiantly in the night. I grab Valerie by the hand and tell her whatever she does, not to look back. But by the time we reach the caddy, the grip I held on her had slipped away. "Damn it!" I shouted from the back seat. Reaching out for Val's hand, I find her buzz worn off, and when she brushes my hand away, I'm devastated. We missed Uneasy Rider.